to Building a World-Class Business with Cotrenia Hood. I am the CEO of Steel Bleu, and I'm excited to have you here with us today. Today's topic is locally owned and nationally known. This subject really resonates with me because I have my business based here in Southwest Florida, and I have clients that are national. And then I talk to clients or business owners who talk about how they want to grow their business to a national brand. I am thrilled to have Deanna Wallins, owner and CEO of Naples Soap Company, here today. Deanna has been probably one of the quintessential people to go from locally owned to nationally known. She had a small business in Tin City, as she says, about the size of a closet, and now she is all over the country doing amazing things. Tell us a little bit about the Naples Soap Company.
So I founded Naples Soap in 2009. Been doing this for a dozen years coming up. I was a former nurse, and I have eczema and psoriasis, and my daughter has eczema and psoriasis. So the products that you see that we have in stores today, we have over 500 of our own branded products, but most of that has come through my own education and my own experience with my skincare challenges. And I absolutely love what I do, and just I can't develop enough product to help people with their skin.
And you know, that's the wonderful thing about your brand, I think, is that it started out as a passion, right? And then you turn that passion into profit. I find that oftentimes entrepreneurs kind of stop at that point from turning their passion into profit, and then they don't really make that next step, which is into something that you've done, becoming a pioneer. Tell us a little bit about being a pioneer.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, and I realized this recently after, maybe after 10 years of doing what I'm doing, and people would say, we're going to do a story on you about an entrepreneur, being an entrepreneur or an entrepreneurial story. And I said, well, I'm actually a pioneer now, because when I started this, natural and organic skincare was considered trendy, and people kept saying, oh, you're going to ride that wave, you're going to ride that trend. And that's really not the case. It was something that I believed in and something that I understood that worked. I have a lot of great mentors in holistic and natural medicine and integrative and functional medicine in my life. And that was a good part of the inspiration for what I do.
Well, you know, I think that one of the greater struggles is that growing from having a national or from a local brand and a local footprint to the national brand. And I know that you have taken some critical steps in order to execute that. Can you give a few tips to our viewers about how some of the critical steps that they need to consider if they're going to go national?
Sure. You really have to put yourself out there. You have to get the exposure. You have to go to places where you're going to see and be seen by other people. For example, we are distributed in 261 Dillards across the United States.
Wow.
And that is a lot of work, but that came through us being at trade shows. Mm-hmm. So with us investing in it, a lot of times smaller companies, they won't go to these places because it's a cost. Yeah. You've got expense to for the booth and for travel and things like that, and companies won't take that leap. But you have to. You've got to get the exposure. You've got to get in front of the eyeballs that count, in front of those, in our case, in front of those buyers or the decision makers.
So you mentioned Dillard's. I don't want to miss the opportunity to talk about how big Naples, from that little closet, company is now. So tell us a little bit about where you are, how many locations you have, and a little bit about the growth that you've experienced.
So we have 10 locations in Florida, and 6 of those 10 are in Southwest Florida. Oh, wow. So we're kind of a hometown favorite here. We are actually currently expanding outside. We're looking in North Carolina and looking to expand into the Southeast. Mm-hmm. So that's exciting, getting out of our Florida footprint. I'm a native Floridian, so I'm partial to my home.
As you should be.
But we have so many customers, and we're in very high tourist traffic areas, but more luxury tourist traffic, and that's how we get so much exposure. So people come, they visit, they have a great experience, they see us, and then they connect with us online. So we have a huge e-com business. During COVID and lockdown, our e-com business went from normal volume in April to basically Black Friday numbers every single day for about 8 weeks.
Oh my God.
and we were understaffed, and it was a heck of a challenge. Also, prior to that, to lockdown, we had started making hand sanitizer as clean as possible because the ingredients are really important to me. So that, along with soap production, kept us in business as far as an essential business goes.
So you weren't making hand sanitizer before, so you just like entered that right before the pandemic happened. Talk about timing. How much of your business has been just feeling the sense that something needs to happen and acting on it?
Well, I read a lot. I keep very, very well educated on local news, national news, and global news. And in January, I was traveling through Europe, through Brazil, and I came back and I was getting a lot of the European news. And so I knew what was coming and what the U.S. agencies were not really reporting on. So when I returned from my trip, it was more intuitive than anything, saying, okay, I really think this is going to be a thing, and paying attention to trends and what's happening in the world around me. I contacted all of my manufacturers immediately and actually went on a road tour and contacting my manufacturers and said, buy as much alcohol as you can find.
Yeah.
And they said, what do you mean? And I said, just buy it. Then 2 days later, I get calls back going, okay, what's going on here? We can't find any. And so we were fortunate enough that our manufacturing partners hustled up and we were able to produce the instant we put a very, as clean as possible hand sanitizer online, because that industry is very nasty. It's disgusting what is in some of these hand sanitizers and chemicals. As soon as we put it online, we sold 1,000 units in the first hour.
Wow.
So we knew that this was not going to stop.
Yeah,
So it was really a sense of intuition, taking a risk, and connecting a lot of dots that were floating around out in our world.
I'm glad you mentioned taking a risk, because that is one of the things that really kind of elevates your brand to a national thing. What advice would you give business owners on risk taking?
I think it has to be a calculated risk. You have to do the math. The numbers will not lie to you. And if you do the math and you're concise and realistic with what you think your projections and outcome will be, that's going to be really your key. A lot of people might be able to do projections, but they might have some pie in the sky number that's just not realistic. So if whenever we put out projections, we try to hedge conservatively, and if we meet those goals or beat those goals, then we're ecstatic and we celebrate. But really trying to move within those conservative projections is very critical for us.
And knowing your numbers, that's the biggest thing. We've had that conversation before. Knowing your numbers is so critical. What is next? Speaking of numbers and growing to a national brand, what's next for Naples Soap Company?
We've engaged a national PR company, so that's exciting. This is the first time we've ever been pitching ourselves on a national basis, so you never know. We will see what happens as far as that type of exposure goes. But we are expanding. We're expanding our e-com business every day. We're adding new people. We have a very robust social media and e-com marketing platform. So that has grown exponentially, like 600% since last year.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, our numbers are staggering as far as growth goes. But everyone's on social now. We are looking to expand. We're probably going to add we have one store under construction right now in the Panhandle, in Seaside near Santa Rosa. And then we're looking to expand outside of Florida, probably within the next 24 months, to add another 4 stores.
It's so exciting to talk about a company that was grown right here in Southwest Florida to a national brand in 12 years. You've done some remarkable things. I'm proud to be watching from the outside this amazing journey, to be one of your clients, customers who have been buying from you for 12 years.
You are a fan from way back.
You are one
of my original fans.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. And I'm just excited to be able to share with small businesses how this journey has worked for you, the things that you have done. And I know that people will get great things out of this segment to be able to move themselves to that next level, to become the pioneer just like you. I'd like to thank Deanna Wallins with Naples Soap Company for joining us today on Building a World-Class Business. Up next, more Lead Pits Live.